question that we have is, what price are you willing to pay for a physical education program? From my perspective, I look at it, what price, not just a financial cost, but what type of physical cost are you putting on your child by not putting them in physical education? What type of emotional costs, social costs might there be?
Well, let's look at this from a time, money, effort perspective, okay? So we say, am I willing to sacrifice, what am I willing to sacrifice in the area of time, money, and effort to ensure that my children are getting proper physical education? So let's look at time. I challenge parents who are having their kids in team sports. Practice every child in a different direction. The younger child in a different league than the older child in a different league, and one into one sport, one another sport. Boy, the amount of time that you're spending running around to practice, ferrying back and forth, becoming a chauffeur and a logistics officer, that's not efficiently using your time to create family bond, and which we say is an important thing for us. And it's not even, as we've mentioned in previous question, it's not an efficient way to actually develop athletically. These children are not developing athletically as a result of sports. So are we willing to put the time into it that is, and my argument is, if we were to implement a physical education program before a sports program, we would find that that would be a very little time effort, 30 minutes a day, that would be basically the same amount of time you're spending ferrying children around from one activity to another. And it's family time, so it's easier to justify. In the money category, we have the sports costs alone. I mean, and private lessons like gymnastics or dance are many hundreds of dollars a month oftentimes, or at least $75 to $100 a month. Any kind of club membership or YMCA membership that would provide the structure or the incentive to create a physical activity program, or allow a parent to feel like, okay, I have access to a physical education type program, is going to cost you on a monthly basis, maybe $100 a month. When you compare that to the cost of a curriculum like ours at $60 for the entire program, or $10 a month, if you like a monthly payment, then it's a fraction of the cost, and so there's just really no comparison. The gym, if we have a membership to YMCA, they're not actually, that just gets in the door, right? It doesn't. Exactly. That just gets us in the door. That doesn't give us a program. There's not someone coming out and welcoming us and saying, "Hi, come on in. We're going to put your child through a program for you." No. So it's the same amount of diligence on our own part, whether we go to the facility or whether we do this at home. My argument is, I think we can do this better at home with a program like ours that allows the parent the structure, the time, and actually the convenience without having to do the travel. Just the travel alone is most of the time it would take to do our program. That's my take on time, the effort, and the money associated with, is it worth it?
And the cost, we look at the cost of, talk about gym memberships and getting in the door. So even there, you go to the gym, can you train or work out or exercise with your child?
No.
They're probably moved to a different place, and a lot of times they might just be sat in front of a TV, because it's
play in a ball pit.
It becomes a liability issue for your children to use the equipment in the facility.
Right.
Or if they do have a child care area where they're moving around, you may pay extra for that attention lessons, whatever it is. So there's an added cost there. We speak about team sports, and I know I'm involved in team sports, and you're moving, husband, mom, and dad are going two different places, so then mom and dad don't have that time together. You're really just passing, in the afternoon, evening, you're just crossing paths, or you're on the phone, hey, where are we going to meet up, what are we going to do? And it does cut down on your quality family time together.
Not to mention that the tendency on that kind of environment is to stop and get some fast food, because that's all we can deal with in terms of quality food, and that's obviously not quality food. So now we've got the other element of, not only are we, we're spending money on fast food or eating out, and there's extra costs that are hidden in there, instead of saying, okay, let's go and make a good healthy meal.
Yeah, and then you think about the long-term benefits of fast food 2 or 3 or 4 nights a week.
Long-term benefits.
I mean,
yes.
Are there long-term costs?
Long-term consequence and costs.